Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabanz, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a bit of a bombshell story for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, you guys are aware that we've covered the fallout between Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen extensively on this channel. We pretty much chronicled it with Scottie Pippen's initial salvo after the Last Dance docuseries premiered, when he went on the Dan Patrick Show and all hell broke loose. Right, all hell broke loose, and ever since then, it's just been one thing after the other. And in the aftermath of all of this, I think the people that walk away the most heartbroken are NBA fans, and in particular Chicago Bulls fans. Look, you got to understand, this was the most important NBA dynasty in the history of the sport, right? It's the most popular dynasty, and it's not even close because it featured the most popular player to ever play the sport in Michael Jordan. So even to this day, whenever there's news that comes out about those old Chicago, the 90s Bulls, people are still super interested to hear about it. That's how much of an impact those guys made on the sports world. So to see Scottie Pippen's and Michael Jordan's relationship absolutely crumble before our eyes was something that disheartened a lot of NBA fans. But this morning, I was just going through the internet, and I came across a pretty interesting article here from Basketball Network. And it has the following headline saying, "In 2004, I knew it was over. John Salley doesn't think Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen will ever reconcile." Now, as I said at the onset of this show, I said I've been covering this story since The Last Dance premiered, which is around 2020. So for John Salley to say that he believes that this relationship was over 20 years prior, damn near, it says that there's probably some information and insight that we are clearly unaware of. And that's exactly what he touched on in this particular report. But before we even get into this shocking information here from John Salley, today's video is brought to you by a sponsor, Game Time. One of the things I love the most is making unforgettable memories with family and friends. And one of the things I hate the most is overpaying for tickets only to find out that there was a better deal out there. That's one of the reasons I started using Game Time. Game Time is the easy go-to app for last-minute tickets to sports, concert, and theater events across 60+ states in the US and Canada. Game Time saves me time, money, and stress by curating only the best deals, so I'm not wasting a whole bunch of time scrolling through overpriced tickets. Game Time Picks is my favorite tool. It highlights the best value seats instantly. No more guesswork, no more wasting time. I'm really looking forward to the game coming up between the Knicks and the Cavaliers in New York on Friday. Here's what I like to do. I turn on all-in pricing so I know exactly what I'm paying for upfront. I check Game Time Picks to find out the most valuable deals. And finally, I pick the ticket I want. I choose between the cheapest deal, the great deal, or the amazing deal. Once you select the ticket you want, you can use their panoramic seat view to ensure you know exactly what you're getting before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and use redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Okay, so let's get into this report. What this report said. He said one of the saddest developments in professional sports is the current state of relationship between Chicago Bulls icon Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Considered to be one of, if not the best dynamic duo in NBA history, the tandem terrorized opponents with their spectacular and effective play on both ends, resulting in 6 championships in the 90s. While the two previously professed much admiration and respect for one another, those days now feel like eons ago, as their relationship has since soured to the point where they no longer speak to each other. According to John Salley, the 11-year veteran who won a championship with Pippen and Jordan on the Bulls, he knew the two weren't on good terms long before the infamous documentary, The Last Dance, which many believe damaged the relationship even further, came to light. Don't expect reconciliation. Fans and pundits have long believed The Last Dance was the straw that broke the camel's back regarding the relationship between the two Bulls superstars. When Udonis Haslem asked if Scottie and Mike would ever reconcile following the example of Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas in recent years, Salley responded with a resounding answer: never. That's over. the 6'11" big man from Georgia Tech stressed. Pippen, and then the article then goes on, it says, he hasn't backed down from any of his comments in recent interviews, even revealing how he and Jordan never had dinner together during their time together as teammates. Simply put, while a lot of people believed he and Mike were close friends, Pip surmised their relationship as strictly professional and nothing else. And then the article then closed out by saying, John added that the relationship between the two hoop legends had never been had been over for a while now, long before The Last Dance aired on Netflix in 2020. It was over. It's been over. It was over before the video. At 2004, I knew it was over, Spider revealed. The affable big man didn't elaborate on why he thought their friendship, but the friendship between Mike and Pip had ended long ago. However, he did mention that his own bond with Pippen isn't as strong as it was. Scottie got new on me too, and I thought I was mad cool with Scottie, and he changed on me too, Sally shared. John, though, remarked it's something he doesn't lose sleep over. That's cool, though. Hey, listen, Prince said it best. I'm not looking to buy no new friends. I got a lot of old ones for sale. So you heard what the report had to say there. What are my thoughts about this? Well, look, I guess things are never as they seem from the outside looking in. From the outside looking in, one would think that these guys were the best of friends. That's the way it looked like to me. Even when there were moments when you would see footage of Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, they always seemed to be very friendly. There was even a footage of Jordan, I think, at the Hornets game, and Scottie came behind him and they were braced and all of that. So to hear that this thing was never a friendship was quite surprising to me. In terms of some of the things that Scottie Pippen said on Valuetainment during that interview, how him and Jordan were never, I really don't understand. You know, I really don't understand. None of it really makes sense. A lot of the reporting subsequently that we heard from Stephen A. Smith, who was close to Michael Jordan, where he said the relationship is essentially over. I don't understand. I don't know if Scottie's doing this to sell books, or I don't know what it is, because in all of this, we haven't heard MJ really say anything explicitly. The only thing that we heard was the conduit that he used in Stephen A. Smith, where he said that when he found out the reason that Scottie didn't extend his condolences after he lost his father was because of a personal vendetta that he had against him. That's when he knew that the relationship, there was no coming back ever again, right? The whole thing is just surprising, because this thing really kicked off when Scottie started going to Jordan. And there's no footage out there that I can see or that I ever saw of Michael Jordan saying any crazy things about Scottie Pippen. Even during his Hall of Fame induction speech, who was the one that introduced him? It was Michael Jordan. So this terrible person that Scottie tried to paint him out to be, I never saw it. And the part that kills me is that if Scottie harbored all of these ill feelings towards Michael Jordan for all of these years, then why even participate in the Last Dance docuseries? I mean, if you felt this way about him for years now, why would you want to collaborate with this guy in any way, shape, or form? That's the part that I just don't understand. A lot of this just seems really, really convenient, right? And I think ultimately, at the end of this, the person that comes out looking worse is Scottie. And then, of course, things got really messy with his ex-wife and Jordan's son. It was just a total mess. And I think ultimately, no one really won in all of this, right? I don't think anybody benefited in all of this. I think that it was a stain on the sport, or really not the sport, but on that dynasty, because to see what those guys were able to accomplish on the court, and then to see that this is how it all unraveled at the end, I think was just a damn shame. But these are my thoughts. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Catch you on the next show. Peace.